A very good afternoon to all of you in India, and a very good morning and evening to those of you who are joining us from different parts of the world. It's really a pleasure here today to host Deanne Panday, who's not only known for her fitness and health, but significant contributions that she has made to actually promote a healthy lifestyle and healthy. I think not only has she guided many people through her work, but I think I can call you a fitness expert, Deanne, as someone who has really written books, looked at wellness, healthy living, and been doing this for a long time in multiple ways. And I think really when we talk of wellness, we talk about a holistic approach to health. And I think you really, symbolize that that institution, that person. So a pleasure to have you with us here today on this, India at 75, moving to India at 100 fireside chat. I have a dream. And, it's always, very important for us, each one of us to think of India, in a manner of a dream and really say, we can always look at what is happening today and say this is right and that is wrong. But I think each one of us, 1.4 billion people in India and millions, overseas, would always like to have a vision of a dream of India. So maybe to start with, how do you dream of maybe a healthier India, over the next 25 years? So what comes to you when you think of a dream for India?
I've always had this dream to have an holistic India totally. What our great grandfathers used to do. It was very holistic at that time. It's just that it started changing and becoming very modernized and taking us away from the traditions and what we and culture that we had many years ago. We ate on a thali, we ate small portions of food, we ate vegetarian, we had less salt, less oil in our food, we did a lot of yoga, we did a lot of walking. My grandparents, being Christian, did a lot of dancing. They didn't have technology at that time. So it's very simple to get India to what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. It was very healthy then. The fast food, processed foods, industries, technology has changed a lot. Construction, you know, uh, cutting trees, not encouraging growing trees, and all of that is happening. It's changing. Actually, if you go to see India, is a very it's nature. India, if you go to see Kerala, up north, anywhere, it always had a lot of trees, greenery, culture. So somewhere down the line, I think there are buildings coming up, cement, there's a lot of construction. It's taking away that beauty away from our culture. Now we have very few cities like Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kerala Kerala is known for Ayurveda, right? So it's still very authentic. I go to Kerala very often to do my treatments, and Ayurvedic treatments have spread all over the world. People go all over the world for Ayurveda when they have it here in India. When they have it here in India. So it's been my dream to have Indians not travel anywhere in the world. We have all the solutions to health and wellness in India. If we just have to go back to our ancient, to Ayurveda, to yoga, to what our grandfathers and grandfathers practiced, it's all the solutions are here. We just have to just bring it back.
No, I think that's such a powerful and a simple way to explain where we need to be 25 years from today. We just got to bring back something that we have given to the world. And it's interesting because today we find a lot of people from the West and others actually not only using it there, but bringing it back into India. And it is something which has gone strongly out of India. So completely, relate to that dream and vision that you just shared.
You have to be so proud because I travel on wellness and fitness and spas and retreats all over the world. And everywhere I go, there is yoga, there's Ayurveda, there is Indian, turmeric and ashwagandha that they use. And when I went to LA recently, they were selling all these Indian herbs at such a costly price. And it's available out here. And sometimes we go there to pick up all of that when it's all available in India and locally.
No, and
So
it's no, absolutely, and it's been so well researched historically. Like when you talked of vegetarianism, for example, or different things that the world is now, largely accepting, which originated a lot to India, the
From
impact
India.
it has on so many other aspects, right? Today, the ecology itself, is so differently governed when, nutritional and lifestyle habits change, right? So
They
it
made
can cause.
turmeric, turmeric has become so famous from India. Coconut oil has become famous from India. You name all the top superfoods are all mushrooms, rishi mushrooms, all of them originated from India. It's
Yeah.
all from here, from our India, from our gurus, from our gurus. And it's in fact I'm right now at a spa up north, and it's all Indian. It's Ayurvedic, it's vegetarian food. It's so beautiful to be in a place that is Indian tradition. Today's Sankranti, and we had like sitting on the floor, we had bhojan on the floor. They practice the tradition. Yesterday, we had the burning of the fire. Today, we're going to fly kites. It's so beautiful to just live our tradition, and it's healthy. It's healthy.
Absolutely. And it's so holistic.
It's
But tell
holistic.
me, Deanne, how did you get into this entire thing? I think, what will really inspire many other Indians is your journey itself. You're a fitness expert, you're an author, you're a wellness coach. I mean, take us a little bit through your journey, from where it started and where you are here today, and then we'll take it further from where we will see you
Yes.
when India is at 100.
Yes. So my journey goes back to when I was 12 or 13 years old. My older sister was a model, and she used to have these Jane Fonda cassettes, these video cassettes to work out. So when she would go on a modeling assignment, we would steal those cassettes and practice the workout. And I just felt that I started liking how I felt, and I started enjoying it at a very young age of 12 and 13. It was Jane Fonda workouts that my sister happened to have with her. And that's how my journey actually began. And when I would get free time after school and after studying, tuitions and free time to go down and be with friends, I would want to do this workout. And then soon I stumbled upon yoga. I came across this old yoga shala. And at that time, yoga was more meditation and more giving gyan and talking, and less of asanas, very few asanas. So I started practicing it. I was very curious, and that's how I stumbled upon yoga. And I started preaching it to a lot of people. But at that time, they would say that you're so young, yoga's for old people. Why are you doing it at the age of 16? And they couldn't understand when I would practice pranayamas and my breathing and meditation at a very young age. It would just give me a sense of calm. I would feel very good from the rest of my hyper friends around. At that age, teenage, they're hyper, and they want to go out and they want to. So it just made me feel very different. And then I remember I got a summer job, and I made some money, and I bought my own gym membership, and I started lifting weights at the age of, I think, 16 or 17. And again, I got really strong and fit, and I started lifting more weights than any of the boys or men out there. So they would get very, yeah, complex. So that's how my journey started. And then I would travel. Whenever I would travel, I would always want to check out healthy food, check out gyms, classes. It just opened up something in me that I used to get very excited. This is what I want to do. I don't know how and where it's going to take me, but this is at the age of 12 or 13. I knew this is something that I want to, apply to my life. And then years later, I started writing on health and wellness for magazines and newspapers, and that's how it started. And then I got offered the Miss India pageant to train the contestants in the year 2000, I think, and that's how my journey started as a personal trainer. I said I'll train the Miss Indias for like 40 days and I'll come back to my kids. They were very small. I was this full-time mom. And I was always a full-time mom. I just centered my work around my kids. When they would go to school and I would have time off them, I would take on another client. When they would go for a tuition in the evening or a class, I would take on two more clients. So I was always there as a mother first, and my career came second. When they grew up and they got, busy, and they had lives on their own, and then that's when my business and career expanded into I built a gym of my own. I started doing workout gear. I started writing books and blogs on health and wellness. And this is a small part. I started giving health and wellness workshops, training people. I started doing so much. I started thriving. You know, then there was no stopping. This is this
Yeah.
is this is my passion. I found it.
No, I think you balance both, your work life balance, and I think holistic wellness also in a way is about being able to do that, given what are your priorities and what you consider meaningful, and I think if each individual,
Yes,
in the country starts viewing their life holistically as a good balance amongst between home and work and many things, I think we'll get a far more productive generation in
yes.
terms of what we can achieve as a country.
Very interesting thing is that because I started at a very young age, I was exposed to health and wellness and nutrition at a very young age, much before India. Even when I started training Miss Indias, there were two health experts only, Mickey Mehta and me. There was no concept of personal training. So I was lucky enough to stumble upon wellness very early, to understand the difference, what really wellness means holistically, and what fitness took a very wrong turn. And that is when I shut my gym down and I started writing books and blogs, because wellness and fitness took a very wrong turn, as in there was a lot that were taking steroids and fat burners and processed protein shakes and going on crash diets. And this is something that would upset me a lot, because I was very holistic by nature, just natural. I don't believe in diets. And eat what is locally grown, eat what is not processed, what you can't pick, pluck, or peel, right? Don't eat it. So I came from a very, and at that time people wouldn't understand. They would come to me at the gym and they would say, in 3 months we want abs. Now genetically we're not built to get abs or get so much muscle in 3 months. It's a lot of hard work. So I used to lose out on a lot of work because I would decline clients, because I wouldn't want to go that way with fat burners or anything that was not right. So I didn't mind it that I was losing so much of work, but I stuck by what I firmly believe in, a holistic way to wellness, which is a very broad spectrum. It's not just the food on your plate or your gym or your workouts. It's your state of mind. It's your relationships. It's your career. Are you happy with what is joy in your life really mean to you? It's not material things or a big house or a car. It's maybe the health of your parents, or that your child does well in school. So I started preaching on these values. This is what is wellness, positive in the mind. I started promoting a lot more of yoga and meditation. And now everybody's picking this up. The last 2 years after the pandemic, people are
Yes.
turning towards a lot of organic farmers, and organic companies are starting out stuff, and people are going a lot more towards holistic health. So it's
Do you
changing
think
now.
there is a rise in what you call consciousness levels post pandemic because of the pain that the world went through, and
Yeah.
also the stress levels, right? The mental health which you see, especially younger people are suffering today compared to earlier days.
Yeah.
So how does one really look at changing, either you talked of habits, the pick, the pluck, and the peel, from
Yeah.
nutrition, from food to mental. If we had to change habits at scale in India, how do we do that? What do you
So this
think?
is what I said 20 years ago. I said yoga should be introduced as a subject, like how we have Hindi, Marathi, Sanskrit, history, geography, all of that. Yoga should be a subject. One period in that day, for that 45 minutes or 1 hour, all students from a very young age has you have to teach them yoga and meditation, because this is the core of if you're a calm person and not stressed, there's so much more that you can learn, gain knowledge, uh, and deal with the world and problems in a better way. So yoga and meditation should be a subject, which I've said many years ago. They should make it compulsory. Secondly, the research that I have done is, if you teach kids to grow, make it like a subject, like I said, to grow their own vegetables and gardening in a school, research shows that they grow up to be very conscious about their food and eating habits and health habits. Because if they're taught from a very young age to grow and to eat what they're growing and to grow pesticide and to have gardens and like a subject in your school, it's those individuals are going to grow up and have their own backyards into, growing their own food and eating what they grow. So these two things I felt I always said should be compulsory. Yeah.
Right, and really, while we do talk about children and the shift in society, I think, women hold a very significant role, especially, in our country, both at home and even in organizations, right? Even today at the workplace, we're seeing, women taking on much more responsibilities. But like you also said, there's always probably a little more challenge balancing work life, etc. But how do you really see the role of what I would say nearly 50% of our population, right, in the country? Is there a differentiated role there? Is it something that we can address, collectively as a society, or do you see complementarity? How do you look at that angle, particularly in the area of promoting more wellness and healthy lifestyles?
For women, for working women. So yeah, so I also was a working mom. My children were very young. They were like 1.5 years and 3.5. And there's a way of working, right? They were very small, so I used to work from the house. And some people don't have that opportunity. They will have to work outside. They have to get a job because they have to have earnings, whatever. I had that choice of working from the house, but I did it. I did it. I mean, what made me do it is my past of my health and wellness. Because was fortunate to start it at a very young age, I just developed into a very healthy mindset, very fit in the mind and body, and I was ready to take on any issue, any kind of stress, any kind of problem. It's just that when you're very fit and healthy, it's easier to deal with situations, and it makes you very stronger in every field. As a housewife, as a mother, as a working woman, being fit and healthy in the mind and body is very important. So a lot of women do make excuses but I don't believe in excuses. I feel it's not being selfish to have self-care and to look after yourself first as a woman, because you have so many roles to play. Nowadays, a woman wants to earn money, have a career, look after house, children, in-laws, friends, entertain. There's so much. So I think it's very important to put yourself first where self-care is concerned and put that time aside. I used to do it when my kids were really small. I used to have that 1 hour a day that I used to go to the gym. And my husband, mother-in-law, I gave them that duty, that 1 hour. As an Indian woman, we feel bad. No, mothers have to do it, women have to do it. It's not. A man has an equal role. He's given birth to that child also. So it's not that it's only a woman's duty. So a man can do that and he can work. So can a woman. She can work and look after kids. But very important, like I said, is the working out, because whatever suits you, whether it's yoga, you're dancing, you're cycling, swimming, whatever, movement is key. You need to move around. You need to not look at it as weight loss, look at it as health, organ health, holistic health, like you said, mental health, because after it took COVID to have people suffer from that. I mean, it took such a pandemic where I had figured out about the state of the mind many years ago, and that was my first book called I'm Not Stressed. I wrote it on stress and what it does to the body, and how women suffer from hormonal issues and PCOS, PCODs, lifestyle diseases, infertility, a lot, hair loss, dark circles, and so much more. It's all stress. So as a woman, we feel that we built to take stress. We shouldn't talk about it. So that's where self-care comes in. Looking after yourself first before you're there for anybody else.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very powerful advice to women, and what they should be doing on a regular basis. But the same applies to men, to younger generations. And through your books, you have really, captured a lot of that. So when you write a book, what's the creative process that goes behind it? How do you pick a subject, and something that can connect with readers? How do you go about that process?
So this is very interesting also. So when I was the first health and wellness author in India, right, to write a book. So when Penguin House, Random House approached me many years ago, I think this was 13 or 14 years ago, they said, we want you to write a book, on fitness and diet. And so I said, give me time. Let me think of something interesting and get back to you. And at that time, I had my gym that was up and running. I had a 3-floor gym that had yoga and had a spa and a naturopath doctor and a physiotherapist and all of that. It was a whole, all in one center. And then I realized that, my friends and clients would always say, Deanne, you're so calm. You go through issues also in your life, problems, but you handle it very well. And they would get stressed about very small things. First a maid would back chat, or a driver would come a little late, or a husband would nag them. And they had stress in their lives every day. So I said, I'm going to write a book on stress and what it does to the body. And I started doing research, and it was shocking. It's the number one killer today. Stress leads to lifestyle diseases and to, all of the other issues and heart attacks and excuse me. Yeah. So that's how my first book was born. I called I'm Not Stressed, and I connected it to nutrition, yoga, workouts, sleep. Sleep was a very important chapter in the book, because nowadays I see people don't dream anymore. You dream when you're in your deep sleep. So you don't hear people talking about their dreams anymore. So they're not getting restful sleep. So the second book, that's when I was ready to write a guide for men and women. It's everything to do with workouts, nutrition, diets. I mean, I don't believe in diets, but nutrition in general. So it's a guide. It's a very serious book. It's you if you need to gain knowledge on if you're a fitness enthusiast or a trainer, or you get a lot of knowledge from that book. And I named it Shut Up and Train, because I would always have people saying that I want to lose weight and I want a six pack and I want to look like this actress or I want to look like that actor. I would just say, shut up and train. You know, you need to work hard. There are no quick fixes. You need to work hard. You need to, be holistic in every way and natural. So that book was born. And then the third book was, I started writing it much before we knew the pandemic was setting in. And it's called Balance, and it's these 13 aspects in your life, and I teach you how to strike a balance to stay happy and healthy. So I started writing the book, and then the pandemic hit, and they decided to release it, and it helped a lot of people. The book did really well. Yeah.
No, I think the research, the way you have been able to create guides and things that people can do is a direct impact that will can affect people at scale and individuals. And I think what we need to see is how more and more people adopt many of these practices, right? Because many times, we need to ensure that there is this consistency over perfection kind of, push that people should be able to have. Because people will do something for a little bit, leave it, for some time, come back to it. And, in that context, also the journey for India, over the next, say, 24 years that we have to 2047, 23 now. What do you think will change, right? I mean, one is we bring back the old ways of doing things because the external environment will keep changing, right? And easy fixes, if people are able to strengthen their inner selves, in a manner that they are able to, what you rightly said, deal with stress. People mistake probably pressure and stress in one word. You put more pressure, you add more resilience, so you become stronger. But stress is not something that's making you stronger just because you've got stress, right? But that is going to be something that's going to probably continue to stay around us. So, how do you see holistic wellness, fitness change over these few years? I know one is technology can come in more proactively, help you track things better, make you more disciplined, maybe give you a little more data. But is there any fundamental shift that you see happening over these next, 2, 3 decades as we are sitting today? So if you're looking, what will an ideal fitness regime maybe 20 years from today look like? Will it be different from today?
Um, I think it's going to go backwards, I feel, because people are doing so much and they're getting ill and they're getting joint problems and they're getting injuries. So that it, when they reach that level, they are taking few steps back and, going towards, slower ways of training and maybe, physiotherapists, holistic ways, holistic. So it's not nice that you reach that stage and then realize I believe in prevention. Prevention is better than cure. You do things not drastically. You do it, you strike a balance, like you don't work out too much. You do you're going to hurt your knees or your back or have an injury or tear a muscle. You do it mindfully. I don't believe in going to many doctors and many nutritionists and trainers and not find the solution. Is very simple. It's within you. You have to do what suits you, what you like, what your body's capable of doing. It all starts also with nutrition. You know, how you eat. You need to eat very sensibly, very clean, very seasonal, locally grown. I don't believe in it. This has come from Amsterdam. It's very exotic, and this avocados come from. I don't believe in all of that. I believe in eating local. Like how our forefathers ate: simple dal, chawal. Little sabzi, small portions. I believe workouts. Indians are not made to do like a CrossFit. I remember my first CrossFit class, and then it was the only class I went to. It was like, it was giving me a headache. Like it was whatever. You just need to do things that it doesn't mean that if you do more, it means that it's good, right? You need to do stuff sensibly. You need your program formulated by an expert, and you have to have a mind. If that's why I say yoga and meditation, because the mind doesn't get cluttered. Then, when the mind is not cluttered, you make sensible choices. And when you make sensible choices, you don't go towards injuries and doing something wrong or protein shakes. And for example, now there's a diabetic medicine that are for diabetics, and the side effects are weight loss. So I know people are taking it not having diabetes. So that is wrong. So I started writing and talking about that. So I said, to what extent people are doing that, and it's going to ruin their pancreas in the long run, because it's meant for a diabetic or an obese person. Why are you taking it just to lose weight? So people are doing anything just to look thin, to look slim, and that is not what health is. But I try every single day of my life to through my blogs, through my books, through my talks, to practice. The only way is holistic, and it's very simple. You go back locally to your food, you go back to your yoga, meditation, your walks. Walking is the best thing, and it's free. You can walk anywhere. You can join a gym, do weights, do outdoor training, whatever. Just don't complicate it. Life is very simple. Don't follow these diets that never work. You need to eat very simple in your plate. Adequate amount of protein, a little bit of simple complex carbs, your fiber. Just eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. Just add a lot of vegetables to everything. Keep it simple.
No, I think again, it's a very yeah, it's a very different and insightful conversation today, Deanne, because we're talking of an India at 100, saying that we now got to go to India at minus 100, or go back to India probably at minus 2000 before we really talk of the independence as our one point when we got back a country that was influenced by others. But I think that's itself a very, very powerful way of looking at the future. Building on something that is so inherent and already existing within us both, as you were talking of, whether it is the genetic or the physical or the mental construct of people in India, and how we should be looking at our future and the future of the next few generations. But young people still today get very influenced by all the things that you were just saying, right? A lot from the West and quick fixes and many of the things that you talked about that affect it. So what's your message to that youth, which is going to be at the center stage, 20, 25 years from today? What's your message to the younger lot in the country today?
Um, it's very tough. I can't say much to them because they're not going to listen, because it's a different generation. They're always on their phones. They don't listen to their parents or, their teachers. It's very tough. So I don't really I can't really give advice. I have to figure out. I have this one idea I've always had. I mean, it's connected in the long run to fitness and wellness. That's one more thing that I've always felt that they should pass this rule that every house plants a tree, because we are going towards an India that is, it was very green. There are still a lot of green pockets everywhere, but there are cities that are getting very polluted. And our great great grandchildren are going to live in these cities. So I just feel that they should pass this thing that every household has to plant a tree, because years from now, 10 years from now, we'll have full grown trees. So a lot of more oxygen and clean air. In the long run, if this goes on, we'll have greenery everywhere. So I feel this is something that the government should pass. It's maybe give seeds to everybody and let them plant. If not a tree, at least plants everywhere. Just make it a green. All the cities should be very green. It's not tough. I mean, we see balconies everywhere, a lot of greenery. It's changing. It's getting better. But I planted 3 trees in my backyard, front yard. So it just makes a difference. It's very simple. You just have to plant it and it just grows. And in 10 years, you'll have a full-grown tree. Yeah.
And it becomes a relationship with that tree for every young person, right? You're growing, you're enabling other life to grow. And that life is actually complementary to you, because what the tree and plant gives you is what they consume.
Yes.
So it's it's a give and take of nature. So
Yes,
again,
because,
very holistic.
Yeah, you just have to pass a rule. We have so many rules in society, BMC, so many things happening. Why not just let every household make it a rule, plant a tree? So it's very simple. Give them seeds, maybe, if they can't afford to buy a plant and whatever, and just little green pockets everywhere. And it's very simple. Yeah. So I just hope that happens soon.
No, yeah, I think there will be, again, as I said earlier, a mix of different stakeholders, including government, policymakers, individuals, corporations, companies, academicians, students, everyone working together to keep India healthier, more well, over the next few decades. And actually, the opportunity lies in India taking this to the rest of the world. I mean, I think one last point I want to just ask you about is, do you see enough investment, right? Because you've been in this space. Ultimately, you also, like you said, you run a gym, you write books, you're doing a lot around wellness. Do you think there is enough investment coming into this space, let alone the time and energy of people investing? But when I'm talking from an industry standpoint, or do you think that has already started to happen? Where are we in that journey, basis what you're seeing around the things that you're doing?
Sorry, you'll have to repeat that once more again, that
No, it's
question.
more investments that are coming into the space of wellness, around the areas that you're working. Do you see that happening, in India, where you are and how you're looking at some of the things that you're doing?
Yeah, so it is like I said, after the pandemic, a lot of organic products have come in. Farmers are doing a lot of more organic stuff. We are all eating organic, so a lot has changed that way. But like I said, I've come to a spa up north, and it's in a little hill, and it's just greenery, and it's all Indian tradition, Indian food, Ayurveda, and it's beautiful. We wear all these lovely capes, and we wear these malas, and we practice a lot of meditation and yoga, and it's all holistic. And this is what India is. India is holistic. It is Ayurveda, it's yoga. It goes back to the scriptures years ago. The way we ate also was very, very healthy. So like I said, we just have to just invest in that and try to bring it back. There's a small lot that is doing it. But we just have to trust more centers like this where I am. I'm at a place in Dehradun called Vana, which is, it's just so beautiful to be here. And I just said, this is India. This is the Indian traditions, and we're wearing all these lovely cotton kurtas and all. This is India, like what you're wearing, that's India. It's organic, it's cotton, so we just need to get it back.
Yeah. And one earth, one family, that concept will go out of India, as we saw happening during the G20. As India becomes more prominent on the global stage, we are going to see a lot of Indianness go into many other parts of the world. And I think
it started going years ago.
Yeah. No, lovely. It's been such a pleasure and joy chatting with you, Deanne. And I know we could keep going on. But,
I know we could just go on and on.
We've had a lovely conversation, and I'm sure a lot for us to do together as well as we move forward towards India at 100. And good luck in all what you're doing. And we'll reach out to you and see how we can collectively, do a lot more together to make this shift happen.
Anytime. I'm there to talk on wellness anytime. Yeah.
Your time and
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.